All right, what is up, gamers mostly, World War II gamers, war gamers, people who like to play military simulators, pretty much general audience of war gamers. I think that's what we are. I think that's what you guys are. But we're people who like to play video games. Video games are really fun, and we're trying to play not just any typical video game, but we're trying to play games that allow us to experience some kind of historical authenticity. And so there's a plethora of YouTube channels that do this. I myself follow a lot of YouTube channels. Probably my favorite one at the present moment is watching Fly Daily's videos. He plays War Thunder, which is like a really popular game, but it's a type of war simulator sort of. It's one of the has one of the best physics up in the market. It's one of the best flight simulators, and it's one of the best tank simulators. And watching Fly Daily play, and watching any gamer play, you see how the games work and you see how the games are designed, and the games have a lot of attention to detail, right? That's my main point. Also my main point right now is to say hi. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. But I like to spiel. I like my spiels, and this is kind of my introduction. But basically, every game has this flavor to it. It's like flavors of ice cream, really good flavor, really tasteful flavor. And shout out to the developers, the people who are making these games and actually making a living off of these games. There are some very successful games in the market. My personal favorite game is Gates of Hell, which is kind of like a real-time strategy, semi-tactical realism game. And, it's just one of those games that has incredible attention to detail. And they've done a great job at listening to their community and creating a quality product that people are willing to spend money on and buy and basically enjoy and understand and experience World War II, or get a sense of World War II. So what this channel is dedicated for. I haven't uploaded a video in quite some time. I haven't been consistent with uploading videos, and I think the reason why is because I haven't really found the right formula. Well, whatever the reason is, right? This is for enjoyment, and I finally got myself to want to pick up and play Eurofront, and I'm gonna play. That's what we're gonna do in this video. We're doing another Let's Play series. This is a brand new series because I didn't finish the old one. So whoever did watch those videos, awesome. That was really cool. I enjoyed making the videos. It seemed like some of you enjoyed watching the videos. So it means that these videos are like not just, empty spaces on the internet, but we're actually experiencing World War II together. And that's kind of the purpose of this video, is that we can experience World War II to some degree. So we're playing here a war game. I'm using the Vassal engine. I'll make sure to include links for anyone who wants to play. It's completely free. If you want to buy the board game, I'll put a link as well. It's a really great board game. I've actually haven't personally purchased a physical copy, but I know people who do, and they absolutely love it. I've read on there's a really great website where you get learn a lot about war games called boardgamegeeks.com. I'll put a link there as well. But that's where the wargaming community seems to thrive on the internet. And I've seen some of their let's plays, and it is absolutely like fascinating the way this game plays when you're playing with multiple people. You're playing over the table. I'm sure it's a really immersive experience because this game is a really well-made game. It's a game that has a very solid set of rules. It's a board game, so you're rolling dice. So if you're someone who's a fan of Axis and Allies, and I have the internet here available, so I can actually like show you guys and not just talk to you guys. But this is how I started personally playing war games. I'm not like the biggest war game player. There's some really complicated games. Some of you have even shown me the names of the games, and it's like, man, I don't know if I have the time to go fully immersed in these kind of games. But I think if you're a big fan of World War II, and if you're basically a World War II historian, an amateur, we'll say, or a layman, I like use the better word. Excuse me, there's a dog barking in the background. Hopefully, well, I don't know if you can even hear it, but I'm trying to multitask here. I'm trying to game along and not interrupt, the ambiance. But anyways, Um, these Axis and Allies games, Axis and Allies is a great place where I started playing these war games, and so it's a pretty cool experience overall. So anyways, that's my introduction. I think we're gonna actually jump in and start playing Eurofront. Like I said, this is gonna be a new series. We're starting in September 1939. Since the last time I made a video, I got myself a bit more familiar with the rules. I used to play this game a lot of solo gameplay, because I just enjoy World War II that much, or I'm fascinated by World War II that much. I shouldn't say I enjoy World War II. I don't think anyone enjoys war, but um, speaking as a layman historian, right? Some kind of historian type person, type fellow. World War II is incredibly fascinating. As this channel, as I've hopefully have proven on this channel, that World War II is a juicy theater of human history to study. There's multiple theaters to study in World War II, but World War II it's a multi-war war. It's a multi-war conflict. So you got all these wars inside of a bigger war, and each one of them is more fascinating than the next. And so it's really cool to have a game that tries to capture as much of the conflict as possible. Like I say, there's some really incredible other games. Axis and Allies is probably the most popular one that I'm familiar with. But I'm sure there's another one that I really want to play at some point in the future. Someday, I think I will get my hands on it, but it's called Case Blue. Case Blue is the operation. 1942, the German advance on Stalingrad. We're gonna get into the World War II now. Um, but Case Blue board game. It's one of those games that I think allows you to control units at the regiment level or at the battalion level. I don't know what the scaling of this game is, but here it is. Here are pictures of it. I think this might be the Vassal engine version. Let's see here. Um, my internet is like super slow, so I realized that I probably shouldn't be using the internet too much in this video. Um, well, anyways, you know, I wanted to show you guys a little bit more. Um, but it captures Case Blue, the operation, and it's a really cool game from what I read because it has incredible reviews. But it's one of those games that gives you a lot of operational flexibility. And so, yeah, here it is on BoardGameGeeks.com. A rating score of 4.54 out of 5, so it's a really high rating. I think it's the next level to a game like Eurofront. I've talked about this before, but like if the way I would scale the games is you would have first a game like uh, oh, 1 second, the cookies. Should I accept all cookies or only some of the cookies? Mm, I don't even know what cookies even are. Um, we'll just accept all the cookies. But basically, you got a game like Axis and Allies, basically as the first kind of level of the game, the big picture strategic view of the conflict. It covers the entire conflict. Then you would have a game like Europe and Gulf, and the Asian Gulf. I did play Europe and Gulf for like many years. I haven't played it in a super long time, but it's the next level of the scaling of the game, and there's an Asian Gulf counterpart. So, you get some really, I learned a lot about World War II playing this game, and I got like a feel for like this German strategic situation in Europe. There's also Asian Gulf, which I haven't played, but it's a game that you can play both games side by side, so you can cover the whole war. And then we've got I finally switched over to Eurofront, which is even more tactical. So now the scaling of the map it has more detail to it. Uh, if Europe and Gulf has units that are at the core scale, Eurofront has units at the core scale, but the level of detail on the map is such that you have all this terrain to keep track of. And that's what I really love about Eurofront is that the map is so beautiful and you have all this cool terrain to play around with. And then the game goes, you can still level up from there, and that's what Case Blue does. It's the next level of detail for these board games, and I'm pretty sure you control divisions. I'm assuming, I really don't know. I haven't played the game, so I don't know the scaling, but I'm assuming you control divisions in this game at the very least, and it may go down to regiments, possibly battalions. I know that there are games out there that do include battalion scaled combat, and so they're really advanced. I remember this one Chinese fellow I met. He was a good friend in high school. Shout out to Yang Man. And I remember we were in the library and we just had all these like discussions about World War II. He was pro Panther, I was pro Tiger as far as tanks is concerned. And he showed me a game that had incredible detail. I don't know what the name of the game was, but it had incredible detail, and it had covered like the Eastern Front, and it had like hundreds of units on the map. It was ridiculous. This game, I think, has dozens of units on the map, and I don't know what the scale is. I see two X's here and one X, so presumably these are, I should know this, but I actually don't. Scaling of units on maps. Scaling of military units. Um, X, double X. Um, I should know this. I don't know this. But this is educational, so this is education. But here it goes. Unit size indication, e.g. battalion, regiment, division, army. It's indicated by specific symbols. So for a battalion, it's two I's. For a brigade, it's an X. For a division, it's two X's. For a corps would be three X's. For an army would be four X's. Okay. And so if we look here, this is going to be, I'm seeing battalions. Those are the two marks there. What is three? Doesn't tell us. Um, and then two X's are divisions. So I was right. We have division scaled units. And then four X's, that's the third Panzer group. So that's like the entire formation. That makes sense. And then let's see, what is III? If battalion is three, then if battalion's two, then presumably three. Oh gosh, there goes my internet. Um, Dang nabbit. It's gonna have to load. Um, I'm gonna give it like 10 seconds. And if it doesn't load, we're gonna simply move on. But that's a great question for the next video series that I can do is look up what three X's is. Oh, that's too many. Three I's is. What kind of unit is. I could also look it up on my phone. So let me do that real quick. But the point I'm trying to make is that you can keep playing around with this and like go into scaling for these war games. And like I say, World War II is not the only war that obviously has armies, divisions, corps, battalions. Um, but it is like the biggest conflict that does cover that. World War I obviously also does that really well. Um, Here we go. I'm gonna look it up before we start playing. We are going to play. Thank you for your patience if you made it this far. But like I said, I love my spiels, and I find this super fascinating. And this I'm learning as much as hopefully you're learning. So thank you for listening if you made it this far. But I'm going to look up scaling units on maps, and um, let's see. What is III? Military units, I should be specific. Scaling military units on maps. Scaling units on maps, XX, and what about III? We know that II is battalion, but I'm super curious. What is III? Symbols X and military do not refer to specific standard map types, but rather the size of military units. That's correct. Oh, so III denotes a corps. And then according to this source, XXX denotes an army. III denotes a corps. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Anyways, I got two different responses from AI, which just goes to show that AI is still under a lot of development, and it's going to continue to be underdeveloped for like my presumption for many years. So we're not like building a conscious, humanoid anytime soon or anything like that. But people are trying to build like advanced AI. I think the best AI, the most realistic AI, is AI for video games. AIs, against opponents that you can play with. And so the coolest AI is the Stockfish AI analysis tool used by the chess community. And so chess is a brilliant game. It doesn't really fit into the military scaling that we're talking about, but it's obviously a brilliant tool. If I go to like analyze board and like I start playing the game, you get all these blue arrows that show up. And these blue arrows is the Stockfish AI that basically um, allows you to study and analyze the game. And so it is used like at a high level to study the game and to kind of figure out who's winning and who's losing the game. It's kind of generally agreed by the chess community that AI is um, the best way to understand the game. Basically, that's my understanding. And so chess has undergone a lot of development, but as you can see here, like I'm playing pretty well right now, and all I'm doing is following the instructions of the AI. I thought I should castle. Let's go here. Boom, take this. Oh, there you go. Boom, like that. Anyways, I'm waiting for the AI to castle here. Um, but so far nothing. Oh, 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 still the opening of the chess game. And for any chess players who I'm sure like every war gamer has played chess before. So hopefully this is nothing that's like too new for you. This is familiar territory. It might be new that for you to see a video that combines chess and wargaming. But they my point here, if there's any point I'm trying to make, is that they're essentially one and the same. Except chess is a very like creative type of game. I don't know if it really follows historically at accuracy and like wargaming detail the way a game like Eurofront or better yet a game like Case Blue does with terrain. I mean, chess doesn't have terrain, so that's already an obvious difference. There we go. We can finally castle. Now the opening is over. I wanted to play just until the opening, until the castling. But the point I'm trying to make is that AI is, this is where I think AI thrives. It's the best AI that I know of. It has the most practical use, and it's probably the most actively used AI in the world, I would argue, given how many people play chess. I mean, like how large is the chess community? And that's going to tell you how many people are using this AI basically. Around 600 to 700 million players. So it's 2/3 of a billion people uh, basically use the Stockfish AI as a reference to study the game. And that is relevant to our video because, well, how? Because I personally believe that every war game should have some kind of AI feature. So we'll see. Stay tuned for any future content in that sense. But for now, we don't have AI. Well, we have players, and this community of wargaming is designed to play against players. And so this is a super long introduction, but you know what? We're just gonna what pass out the buns. We're gonna pass out the buns because this stuff is incredibly fascinating and um and it deserves to be talked about. It deserves to be recognized. In the wargaming community, we don't have AI, but in more popular games like War Thunder In more popular games like IL-2 Stromovic, flight simulators, you have incredible AI, right? You know, um, one of the coolest simulator games right now, IL-2 Stromovic, Battles of Stalingrad. Um, so this is an actual video game, and you have actual AI to play against. Us war gamers, we don't have AI, but the military simulator community does have AI for their video games. What was the better example? The one that I mentioned is Gates of Hell. Let's see what pops up if I Google search it. Um, but Gates of Hell has really good AI. It's not like the most brilliant AI I've ever encountered personally, but it's good AI. It's a solid AI experience. And so, anyways, I find that AI in World War II authentic games to be really cool. Maybe I dedicate a whole video to that in the future. But for now, with just an introduction of all this stuff, all this creative stuff that we're talking about, I can finally turn our attention um, to playing the game. So actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to personally, uh, with the power of video editing software, I'm going to stop it right here. I'm going to get myself a beverage just to quench my thirst. And then I think we're going to go ahead and actually start this Let's Play series, which I hope you guys enjoy. I hope it helps you understand the rules of the game. This is still meant to like help you guys learn how to play, but I think the primary reason for this video is so that we actually enjoy playing World War II and learning about World War II. The last thing I'll say before I switch gears is the one thing that I will try my very hardest to do is I'm going to try to play the game from beginning to end. So this is going to be a solo run, but anyone who wants to play, let's just stay in contact in the comments below. Um, and we're going to, I think at some point in the future, I would be interested in playing against an actual player because you learn more about the World War II experience, especially on the intel side, because there is a beautiful fog of war mechanic here and all that in due time. But this is going to be a solo play. We're going to play from beginning to end. This game has insane dice. If there's anything that only confuses me or frustrates me about this game, is that you have no control of tactical or operational. I guess you have a little bit of operational input, but you have no control over the fate of the dice ultimately. And the dice can be pretty wild in this game. It's still pretty cool, but it can be pretty wild, sometimes very frustrating. And I'm gonna play this game, play through the dice. There might be some cringe moments of just like very or oof moments where like just the dice make no sense whatsoever. But that's just in the nature of the dice, and I'm sure as all war gamers know, the dice have say what they have to say. So that's what makes the game exciting for a lot of players. But personally, I know that like studying tactics and studying operational combat and so on, I know that uh, that you can train a military so that you can kind of get more or less predictive outcomes to some degree, and that's through discipline and training. And you can improve the quality of your fighting force through training and preparation and so on. And this game doesn't do anything to allow you to prepare your military at a tactical level or operational level, but you can plan for this game strategically by assembling the formations and basically coming up with a sound strategy and so on. So with that, we're going to play 1939. We're starting with the invasion of Poland. As you can see here and right in front of us, we have the Polish forces set up. German forces are set up. I might change the French setup a little bit, um, but this is going to be a long playthrough, but I'm willing to commit to it. and hopefully you guys enjoy. We've got Russian forces set up, and you're gonna see how I play this game, and you're gonna see my best playthrough because I've been playing this game a lot, and so I would say that my skills are pretty good. Anyone who thinks that they can beat me, you are open for the challenge. But for now, um, I'm gonna have a solo playthrough. Hopefully, we all can, not hopefully, but excuse me, um, but I know that we're gonna enjoy the game one way or another. And so, yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for checking out the video. And now let's shift gears and actually start playing the game.
All right, and we are back. Thank you for making it this far and listening to my, I don't even know what to call them, but things that a World War II historian finds interesting. That might be the title there. But we're going to start playing, excited to play. Big shout out to all the people who got me into this game because, frankly, without them, were it not for them, I probably would have never taken the time to learn the rule book, and I would have been still playing Europe in Golf, which is a great game. But this game really does a good job of fleshing out World War II. I've learned a lot about, like, I've gained a deeper intuitive insight to the nature of World War II, especially in the European theater, because this game is Eurofront. I hope someday they make an Asia front, and might as well have the same detail. Like, don't change the mechanics of the gameplay, or maybe make a few modifications. But like, I would love to play an Asia and Gulf game that has this hex scaling. The naval rules are obviously going to be like hella different, but those rules should be incorporated. That's what they did with Europe and Gulf and Asia and Gulf. Asia and Gulf adds special rules. Actually haven't played Asia and Gulf, but I know they added a bunch of naval rules. But the rules are still similar for infantry combat, is my understanding. But you have new unit types like Marines, which is pretty interesting. This game also has quote unquote Marines, but they're not Marines, they're amphibious units, but they operate exactly the way Marines would operate, which taught me a lot about like World War II and how the Allied forces were fighting against the Fortress Europa, the this massive fortress of this military industrial complex under the rule of the Nazis, literally, and Adolf Hitler running the show. And basically, the Allies were outnumbered throughout most of the campaign, and they still found a way to fight offensively. And so, with that said, I think it's time that we take a dive and really start feeling out the game. So, we're starting with the 1939 campaign, and we're going to play until probably 1945. I imagine that's how long this game's going to go. It's going to be an interesting game. I already have a sound German strategy, which I won't say in this video, but you'll get a feel for what I'm trying to do once we play. But this is going to be for the hardcore ones, man. For you gamers out there who really are willing to take the dive into World War II. And if you're probably the ones who are going to watch this video, so let's do this together. Obviously, like not at the same time, but you know, you get to some you get a interesting. You're gonna get excuse me. You're gonna get commentaries from a World War II historian. Um, at least I took one history class in university, so I will label myself as a historian for the sake of the video, military historian for that matter. And we're gonna play this game, or we're gonna take a dive, or we're gonna have fun. So, dang nabbit, we're gonna enjoy it. Um, so let's see. there's like it's like chess, you know. So I gotta warm up. Okay, I gotta get my strategies going. You know, I gotta get the strategies going for sure. Um, and man, this game has a lot of strategy. It's not an easy game to play because of the freaking dice. But even without the dice, you still have to have a good strategy. And I'm also making sure like the rules are good. The setup is so key. I did change the French setup a little bit. If you saw the last video, you would see that a few of these squares have shifted to the south. That's the general like strategic setting, but I won't tell you exactly which units have moved to exactly which hexes. Most of the commentary will be like general strategy, but obviously, you know, there's like a lot of tactical mechanics that are taking place, like in chess. But this game is a strategy game, so we're really focusing on the strategic side of gameplay, not the tactical side. Although you will see more tactical, quote unquote, tactical mechanics in the game when we do battles. And maybe some of the movement. There's special attack types that you can do in this game, special command phases that you can do. Each HQ, when activated, goes through a command phase, and there's different types of HQs. There's a paratrooper HQ, an amphibious HQ, there's a blitz HQ. So we're gonna see all that in this game, and that's what this game does really well. And in fact, most of the war games, I think at the higher level, follow this sort of system where you have some sort of mechanic for how many turns you can do per phase, or another way another way to say it is how many uh, battles you can do per turn. And this is like from what you guys have showed me, this is like pretty like rookie level, or not rookie, but I'm trying to say it's like it's still very novice level of like attention to detail when it comes to gameplay mechanics. The mechanics in this game are relatively straightforward compared to some of the more advanced mechanical games that have you like having like command points depending on which general is in charge of the formations. So you know, like the gameplay, the battle mechanics are just far more detailed. This game has a relatively simple dice mechanic, and the part of the game that's just so bizarre is the dice. Um, but we're gonna play like a default version. But I think there may be another version of the game that I might like more, which is that we're gonna like make all the dice probabilistic outcomes, um, and only the last dice will be randomly rolled. I might change that in the future, but for now we're just gonna play the default game. I think that's the easiest way to play it. Um, but yeah, let's start. I mean, I love to have an introduction. But by the way, like the way I'm doing it, you know, the setup sheet tells you, the 1939 setup sheet tells you what units go where. And typically they give you like regions, or not exactly in a specific hex, but it can be in or adjacent to said hex. So I'm like starting to speak tactically. I'm gonna try to not be too tactical in this video series. I think it slows down the gameplay a bit too much. But you know, you have some flexibility here for the setup. This setup is a semi-historical setup. It's pretty much the most historically setup that I could do. I looked very closely. I like the here. I'll show you. Oh my gosh. 1939 invasion of Poland. We're gonna do some little bit of history, little historical digging here. Hopefully the lighting is good. Um, I might do this. That might be a little better. Um, but anyways, there's a really good map of the invasion of Polish forces. This is the map, and this is a map built by West Point, which is pretty cool. Um, but it tells you all these Polish unit types. You know, there's the Wiskow. Here, we'll zoom in. I'll show you. So this is like a historically accurate map. Probably the most historically accurate map. It's the one on Wikipedia. and it was made by someone who used to work for, I think, West Point is what I understand, and they basically um, built these maps. I don't know the exact origins of the maps themselves, but they're probably like some of the best, if not the best, maps available on the internet when it comes to like World War II. And this map has the Polish army setup, and you can see that each Polish army has a name. That's the point I'm trying to make here. You got Pomorze, Modlin, Wiskow, what else? Carpathian, Krakow, Poznan, Lodz. So they're named after regions, I think. Basically, it's the name of each Polish unit. And I went ahead and set up the Polish to the most historically uh, accurate version that I was able to like understand. And so we're gonna do a more or less a German historical invasion. You can see that there's like three axes of attack, three primary axes of attack. You got one that goes through Lodz. Um, that's the main one. You got another one that's coming from East Prussia, Königsberg, as I like to put it. As I like to put it, it's coming from East Prussia. And then the third one, well, I guess there's actually four. There's five technically, but those are the main two. And so that's what we're gonna try to simulate in our game, is like try to do the historical German invasion. Play with a very historical introduction. I don't want the game to be too like what ify. So we're gonna try to play the game like historically, and I'm gonna try to like have a better campaign than the German historical campaign. Um, Something like this. And so let's start. I think it's best that we actually get the video going. So I'm playing against the Germans. The turn is September 1939. I do have the rule book open. So for those of you who want to like better understand the game, I might just like try to use the rule book a little bit. I mean, I will need to use the rule book a little bit for like political phases, which in this game is a political mechanic. So there's Axis diplomacy and Allied Soviet diplomacy. I might use it for that, but like other than that, we're gonna try to keep it to a minimum. Um, but why not like take a dive? Anything else I want to say before I start the video? I'd like to take my time, folks, fellas, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Um, but like anything else I want to say about this historical introduction? Well, I guess we were just talking about the historical setup, and that just takes data. That's just information. Um, so I think I'm ready to start. Any other questions or anything? Any comments before we actually take a dive? I guess I'm preparing for like a live stream with these someday. I would love to do a live stream of these videos. I think it'd be more fun. You guys can ask questions about rules, and then I can explain rules a little bit. It's a little bit more interactive. But anyways, we have the German perspective. I'm using the setup sheet. There's nothing more to really add. I'm using the 1939 setup sheet. Vassal Engine has it super like neat and organized. So Soviet units are placed around Leningrad, the military districts. Germany, you have like several German army groups. Pomeranian army group. There's really an army. These are actually armies. I don't know how it was in the historical invasion of Poland. I will do that research on my own. I mean, I could try to find out. Um, I don't think that's the point of this video, but I don't know if these were German armies or army groups. That's what I want to know. That's my question. Germany had a substantial numerical advantage. They used aircraft and bombers. But I want to know more about the combat units details. Here we go. September campaign was devised by General Franz Halder, the chief of the general staff. They mentioned Heinz Guderian here. But we want to learn a little bit more about the nature of the German units. Okay, so they were army groups. But according to the scale that we're doing it, I mean, these army groups are comprised of what seems to be army-sized formations. So this Pomeranian army group, like, it only has one corps, two infantry corps. Typically, three corps make up an army. So is this an army, or are these two different? Are these two different armies? I don't understand. The Bohemian group makes sense because you have one Panzer group, which are these two corps combined, and then you have an army, a small one. The Slovakian sector is, oh, it's not controlled by, it's part of Army Group South, I think. So actually, yeah, this might be an entire army, Panzer army, including the corps to support. 3 to 4 corps makes up an army. And then this group here, I would say, is two. You got another Panzer group here in Slovakia, and then you've got these three German corps, totaling to about 8 divisions, making up what you call it, another infantry army, something like this. So a German invasion. Let's see, I have yet to see anything on corps. Um, yeah, I don't see much. They're kind of a general overview, but I still don't know the nature of um, the units on the actual German formations. And I'm also like skimming through it as fast as I can, for the sake of time. But I will add like chapters in this video, so you guys uh, can skip through and watch whatever sections you want to watch. I think I'm just gonna give the sections like theme names. I'm not gonna actually like break it up into the mechanics of the game. I don't think that's what I did in the last video series, but it's a little stale, and it's like this game has more flow, and so I think this video is for people. I'm assuming you guys know the rules, and even if you don't know the rules, you'll kind of catch on to the game intuitively, I think, and kind of get a feel for what I'm trying to do at a strategic level, irrelevant to the very specific mechanics of the game itself. But yeah, I can't figure it out right now. But um, I would say that these are corps. Like each corps is an army. So you got 3 armies here. This is what the Soviets would do. Each corps would be treated as an army, pretty much. So you'd have a lot of smaller armies working in these fronts. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. But for the German formations or the Allied formations, typically you've got 3 to 4 corps make up an army. So yeah, I can't find any information on it, but we tried. If anyone knows, please comment below. That would be insightful. We've got the two Supreme HQs. So I think we're gonna start. I might create a log file. I usually don't like to create log files. Recently, I haven't been doing it, but I think this time I will create a log file. See, I play solo, so I've got like a bunch of solo games that I've played. Um, this is now solo 15 that we're doing, and yeah, like I typically restart games when I don't like what happens, a certain outcomes due to the dice. So I guess so you can call it a rage quit, but I just stopped playing the game. But this time we're gonna play through the whole thing. I know there's gonna be moments where it's gonna be like the dice are gonna be really cringy, or just rough. We're gonna have like unwanted dice. It's inevitable, statistically inevitable in the game, um, and so I'm not saying that that's a guarantee, but there's a probability that that can happen, and we're gonna have to play through it. Whether it's allied problems or axis problems, we're gonna have to wait and see. But I did start the log file. This is like what you use to play by email when you're playing against an opponent. And you record all the turns in the game, and then you save the file, and then you can send that file by email. And that way, you're playing kind of like a game of hot potato, where one player does their round of turns, then they send off the file to another player playing their rounds and turns, and that's how you can play on the Vassal engine. You can also play the game live on the Vassal engine as well. So those are options for playthrough. Um, but whoever I play with, like, we need to understand the rules of the game, right, for the game to flow. But of course, any questions or anything like that, that's how I played with other people. We the you can ask questions, exchange. The players I played against, they knew the rules pretty well, or they were able to catch on to the rules very quickly. um, but that's how you basically play the game. um, I think we're gonna start. I'm gonna start by activating. I'm playing as both the allies and the Axis. So sometimes I make mistakes because there's so much to track when you're playing both sides. But I'm gonna start with Army Group South, and then I'm also gonna activate OKH, which is Oberkommando des Heer, basically the German High Command of the Army. And then you've got the Oberkommando des Wehrmacht, which is like a general command, but it's basically that this was the Western High Command, and then this was the Eastern High Command. That's how it basically played out in World War II. But this technically OKW is technically larger than OKH because it's High Command of military. OKH is High Command of Army. So you would think that the Army would be subordinate to the entire military, but because of the Germans' historical emphasis on their army, the army had a richer history and had basically more leverage within the general military, and this played out very much in World War II as well as World War One for the German army. The German army is well renowned, is historically one of the most famous armies of all time, right? Whether it was Nazi or under the Kaiser. And so they basically had a lot of leverage in World War II. And so that's why this game just basically splits them evenly. They have the same command capability, except one's for the Eastern Front, one's for the Western Front. That's pretty much how that works. What is inconsistent is how the fronts are like not always active. So you're going to see that since we're doing it in 1939, right now we only have the Eastern Front is active, but it's we're not at war with the Soviets, and we're at war with the Polish. And the Western Allied powers, well, it's a bit of a phony war, or it's a bit of some kind of strategic stalemate, because the Germans have a lot of units in the East. Maybe not as many as the French, not nowhere near as many as the French, but we have a pretty good defense right now. I mean, we got double defense here in let's see, Freiburg and Stuttgart. Stuttgart. My German is not. Anyways, um, and then we've got a fortress here. It's only a level 1, but we've got a fortress in Saarbrücken, which is basically dead center on the Western Front, on the Franco-German border. And it's open terrain, and we fortified it. So, like, we'll see what the French can do, but it's not like, I don't think they're going to be able to blitz their way to Berlin. So the Germans, the French have an advantage, but the Germans have a good defense right now. So I've heard that they didn't. Their defense was really weak, but at least in this game, their defense looks pretty solid to me. That's triple defense, 3 dice, triple defense, and you've got 2 infantry units. I mean, you can survive. Technically, it's going to take 9 dice hits to wipe out this entire group. That's not easy to do when you're only rolling on a 6. You have a 1 in 6 chance of scoring a hit with every dice. So you would have to roll 9 dice, and 9 dice 6 times. You have to roll 54 dice to score 9 hits according to the probabilistic math. And it's like, that's not easy to do. So I don't think the French can break through. The French can attack with 12 dice, 16 dice at best. So, unless they have double fire. But yeah, I just don't see the French breaking through. But anyways, we're gonna start with Army Group South. I'm gonna blitz with Army Group South, and then we're also gonna use OKH to move all our units from Königsberg into Poland. So we're gonna go with 1, 2, 3. I'm just trying to pin down the Polish units. We don't have the firepower to break through. These 3 units are technically on the Eastern Front because of this dashed line that you see here. And so we're gonna move them, go like this, 1, 2. I'm gonna move this group into East Prussia, and then the third one we're gonna send over and pin another Polish units. So these units are not gonna break through. It's a 1-to-1, and the defender gets to roll first. But I'm pinning down the Polish units. Where we're gonna actually blitzkrieg is here in the south. So I'm gonna move my panzers first. I think I'm going to go like this, and then we'll send this German unit forward into Krakow. These 2 German units are going to march around and attack Poznan. This German infantry unit's going to go. It's going to do a river assault, and it's going to attack there and just pin down that Polish unit. So what we're going to try to break through is the areas where our panzers are concentrated. I'll send these 2 units forward out of Slovakia. Move this German panzer unit there. I don't know what to do with this last German unit. Yeah, I guess we'll just leave it there for now. And they're gonna basically follow the breakthrough if the breakthrough succeeds. So that's a big if. We have air support. The Germans do have triple fire air support. I think we're done with German ground unit turns. So I'm gonna mark my areas with air support. And then we'll start the battles. The one air support's coming from Army Group South, another one's coming from OKH. It has a double range, so it's coming 6 hexes away. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes. So that's where that airstrike is going. Another airstrike is going over here. Like I say, I'm gonna try to not make this video too tactical because it's just gonna take a long time. But let's start. I know that if I was a chess player like this unit here, there's a better place for me to put it. I just don't know where, so I'm just gonna leave it there, and they're gonna participate in a breakthrough. I think I'm gonna actually undo this move and put the German unit over here instead. I'm gonna do that. All right, and so now that's the movement phase. We'll start the blitz. We'll start the combat phase. By the way, you can open the player aid, and here are the phases. So this is like, I'm only going to explain it once. I'm not going to try to explain it every time. But we've got command phase, which you activate the HQs. Movement phase, which is what we just did. Combat phase, blitz movement phase, blitz combat phase, and these phases are optional. And then you have a supply phase followed by a political phase, and then it repeats all over again on the opposite player turn. We also have a production phase. and a diplomacy phase. And that's pretty much the game. And then we have a weather phase as well. So let's start. I'm gonna start just moving like left to right, um, and we'll start with the dice rolls. Um, Ooh, see, like here the Polish scored a hit there. Germans don't because they'd have unsupported combat. This is all unsupported combat. Ooh, the Germans do still score a hit there. Nice. Then we've got this Palm group, which is if you look at the map, I think it's Pomer, something like this. It's a Polish army. Pomors, Podmozy or Podmoz. My Polish is also not very good, but it says Pom. Boom, there it is. And did I roll dice for that battle? I don't think I did. Okay, these are the dice rolls for this battle, by the way. Fourth battle, fourth hex, right? Yeah, something like this. Um, Anyways, like I said, we're not going to get too much into the statistics of the battles because the dice are just so wild. We're going to focus on strategy. Here's a pause, POZ, and that's the Poznan group right over here. They score a hit. Germans also score a hit, touche. I tell you, man, the dice are going to be interesting. Germans do score a hit here against PRU, which is, I don't know. I don't know what PRU stands for. It's not Poznan, it's not Podmors. Yeah, that's a total mystery to me. But I think PRU, I don't know what that stands for. I'm trying to look at the map here. I don't have any data on what formation that Polish unit is there. I think PRU stood for Prussia, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We have Modlin. Modlin is right there. Then we have WYZ. Oh, that's Wiskow, right? Wiskow. That's WYC. That's over there. And here's Warsaw, by the way. So that's kind of northeast of Warsaw. Anyways, let's continue the battles. Germans have triple fire here against Lodz. They score 2 hits. Nice. Because they score a hit on with triple fire, it's a 4, 5, or 6. Now the Panzers roll. Boom. They score 2 more hits. So this unit is destroyed. The Germans achieve a breakthrough. Nice. Very nice indeed. We have a battle of Krakow. The Polish have double defense, or double fire. Germans score only 1 hit, but the Polish have double defense because it's an urban city, Krakow. Then we got another battle here. This Polish unit is SAN, and SAN is, I believe, stands for Samdomjer, if I'm pronouncing that right. So that's that unit right there. They only have 1 division there. The equivalent. The Germans score 2 hits because of the triple fire air support. Triple fire 3 times more effective than single fire. Triple fire is 4, 5, or 6. Double fire is 5 or 6, and triple fire is 6. There's a little bit of math nerd for you. Nothing wrong with that. The Polish miss. The Germans score a hit. Nice. And okay, so that's the blitz phase, or that's the combat phase. Now we're doing the blitz phase. The Germans broke through in both areas, so that's really nice. I'm going to move the infantry unit here. I'm going to move this infantry unit there. We're just pinning down more units. I would advance my German Panzer group there, and there's another one. I don't know where to put it. We got one more. I don't know what to do with it. What I'm going to do over here is I'm going to advance the German infantry units. And I'm going to move the German Panzer units. And we're basically encircling Warsaw right now, which is part of our strategy. Kind of like what they did historically, pushing on Warsaw. So we had two breakthroughs in the south. I added a new breakthrough. This is the historical difference. We would have a vector coming this way to basically encircle this Polish unit at Warsaw, or not Warsaw, Krakow, because the Germans broke through, right? Um, and I could send this German unit into Warsaw, which I might do, because, and then I'll move this German unit there. The only problem with this move is that it leaves Radom and Prezemisl, something like this. I can look it up. I'm allowed to do that. Hold on. Translate. I want to see what that sounds like. Prezemisl. So strange. Present. Present. Oh my gosh. Polish. Presmisl. It stands for industry. Or prezemis. Oh my gosh. The Z is after the R. Literally industry in Polish. Let's see how that sounds like.
Przemyśl.
Przemysł, something like this. Yeah, I tried my best. Przemysł, something like this. Anyways, we're gonna attack like this, and so let's see how these next rounds of battle go. I'll deactivate this HQ, and we're gonna move it into Katowice. And then let's see what else. So these units or these areas are Radom is not. I don't think the area control will change at the end of this turn, because so it's just gonna put our German units out of supplies. But I think we're gonna get supplies from East Prussia, because these Polish units are gonna be out of supplies. The reason why is because their capital is not able to trace something called national supply through Poland into Russia, into the Soviet Union, and trace all the way to London, basically. That's one of the rules in the rule book. And so if they can't do that, then this area is going to be out of supplies. And that's exactly what's happening on this turn. And so, yeah, let's do these next rounds of battle. Unsupported combat, but breakthrough. No hits. Oh, wow, the Polish score hits. Of course they do. The Germans do not score hits. We won't do another round of Battle of Krakow, no point, because we have unsupported combat, and we would need to score. We would have to score 8 hits to take out Krakow, and right now, 8 hits on a 1 in 6 chance. We have no panzers. We're attacking only with infantry. What is that? Let's see. We're doing some math here. 8/6. Um, we said 8 hits at single fire. And single fire is a 1 in 6 chance, so that's 8 times 1 in 6. That's the probability. Um, and so if we wanted to like get hits, we would have to multiply that by 6. If we wanted to get 8 hits, we gotta multiply that by 6. That tells us the number of dice. Um, Basically something like this. Um, and so I think the number of dice is going to be 6. Um, because the probability is 1 in 6. I think another way to write it, if I was going to be completely mathematical, it's going to be hits times probability of hits times number of dice. And so right now the numbers that we have is 8 times 1 in 6 times 6, which basically equals to 8 hits. Now if we actually ignore the probability, it's 8 hits, but it's 48 dice that we need in total. So my logic makes some sense. This last part technically it's a bit confusing. I think if I put 2 equal signs there, it'll make a little bit more sense. 8 hits. Technically, it's actually 8 hits at P of a probability of hits equaling 1 in 6. So yeah, I don't know how you would do that like with programming, but I'm sure there's a way. Anyways, we got one more battle. Let's do Warsaw. Well, I'm gonna have to erase all of this. That's fine. Because we're rolling the dice now. The Polish have no units defending Warsaw. So the Germans roll. If they scored 3 hits, they would have damaged this Warsaw unit. But they only scored 1 hit on a 6. But now we can do the supply phase. So we just did the combat phase. I wish there was a marker that allowed us to select which phases are in the game. That's what this game is missing. But now we'll do the supply phase. Warsaw is out of supplies. So I guess you have all these bonus markers. I typically don't use the markers when I play the game kind of solo, but I think for the sake of the video, I should use these markers. So this unit is out of supplies, and therefore every other Polish unit is going to be out of supplies because their supply source is Warsaw. And so now we're going to reduce all the units by one because of the supply loss. This unit goes down. This unit disappears. This unit disappears. Now there's Polish units that are disappearing. This unit goes down. This unit goes down. Disappears. Any areas where there was only one division, it's all gonna disappear. So all together, the Polish just lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 armies or 5 divisions, 5 equivalent divisions of units, something like this. This is an estimation. And now all these areas change. Now the map has changed dramatically because now all these areas are under German control. And you can see now the Germans, who are the sole occupiers of these areas, they literally surround Warsaw. And so this area will be under German control. And then the last unit to reduce is the actual HQ located in Warsaw. So that's going to sum up the German turn. It's a really excellent turn. I mean, you get a sense of how powerful the Blitzkrieg was. All we did is just attack two areas with a lot of stacked up high valuable or high attacking dice, broke through in those areas, broke through in those hexes. And then these other areas, we didn't even need to break through. But because we were able to pin down Warsaw, we put the entire Polish army out of supplies, basically. So now the Germans are basically guaranteed to win the war. All they have to do is wait until wait until Warsaw surrenders, wait until this HQ goes out of supplies. It's going to take 2 more turns for that to happen. The game has fortnights, so a fortnight is 2 weeks. So it's going to take about a month of just waiting, doing nothing, before the Polish surrender. And so this game is strategic. So we're not seeing the street-to-street combat. We're not seeing any like battle take place because if we choose not to attack, that's the point I'm trying to make. Anyways, we're gonna switch now to the Allied perspective because that was the German turn. And so we're gonna hide all these dice, all these units again. I'm gonna hide them, and they're still out of supplies. But like, if we saw from a third party's perspective, this is how the game would look if you're playing the full fog of war. Both sides have hidden units, but of course, depending on which side I play as, you're gonna see the units. So we're gonna switch to the Allied side. The Polish, I can't do anything because I think actually this unit is also disrupted. It's also disrupted because of the surprise attack rule that the Germans have. And so this unit, if I activate it, it's going to be at a level 0, not a level 1. And I can't command, well, there's no units to command anyways. I forgot to deactivate that German OKH. We're going to do something cool with the French. We're going to attack with the French. And I'm going to move this unit across the river. And then I'm going to attack with these French corps. I have the 7th French Army is basically fully mechanized and is supported by this PRX unit, which I forget what it's called, but I won't look it up. But I could. I mean, we could do a historical dive there, but we'll save that for another time. And we're going to attack with the French. And then I'm just going to move the 4th Army into Philippeville. And we're going to move that unit there. And then I'm going to move this 9th Army from Paris to occupy the space that Philippeville wasn't occupied in Cabray, something like this. And I want to make sure that the Polish border is not empty if I decide for whatever reason to go to war with Poland, or if the Germans do hit a historical breakthrough of Belgium like they did in World War I want to make sure if the Germans try to go for Belgium, like I want to make sure that the French have a secondary group of units that are there. And units that can move into Belgium and support the Belgian if the Germans decide to attack Belgium. But we are going to attack the Siegfrieding line, and we're going to do with air support, a command range of 2, and we'll start the battle. The French only have single fire for all their dice, including air support, and we can see that here in this player aid. Allied single fire, September 1939, or it's not September, but summer 1939 campaign. And so we're going to start with the French. French almost score dice with air support. The Germans have 1 triple fire and 6 single fire. See what they get. The fortress does score a hit against the French. The French have 8 dice, all single fire. The French score no hits. Dang it. Okay, so I was hoping the French would kick ass, but like I said, the German defense is pretty good, and the French score no hits, and I think we calculated that the French would need to score 54, or need to roll 54 dice, and need to score 9 hits, and they didn't even score 1 to break through. So, historically, German defense, my conclusion, the question is, was the German defense of West Germany, aka e.g. the Ruhr, a good defense during the invasion of Poland? This is actually a ChatGPT worthy question. This is like a really, I don't know, my Wi-Fi might not be the best, but I think it's a question worth asking. And I know that my face is kind of dark. I don't want you to see my shadow self, but I could change the lighting like this. Maybe do something like this. I gotta just remind myself that when I go on the internet and I'm doing internet searches, that let's try this. That might be the best. But let's ask the question. Let's see what ChatGPT says. I meant to say was, not what. The German defense of West Germany, a good defense during the invasion of Poland. And let's see if my Wi-Fi is any good. I think it should be. It looks like it's working. It's loading. Here it says, good question, and it's a subtle one about strategy, not just troop movement. In September 1939, during the invasion of Poland, Germany's western defenses, the so-called Siegfried Line, faced France, the UK. So to rephrase your question, was Germany's defense of the Ruhr and the western frontier strong during the invasion of Poland? By 1939, it was not fully complete, but it was strong enough for a short-term defense. Excellent. The Germans used it mainly as deterrent to buy time in case of a French offensive. Behind it, it was the Ruhr, Germany's industrial center, so its defense was politically and strategically critical. And like I said, German defense was enough for at least a short-term defense, and that's what we got. So that's cool. Just kind of a historical lineup there. And we attacked with the French. So I don't care what anyone says, we tried. The point I'm trying to make is that in this historical scenario, the French are not going to be sitting back all dilly-dally. We're going to try to set up the best French defense that we can in this campaign. So anyways, that is the French attack. We're going to now change fortnights. The Soviets do not do anything on the first fortnight. We're going to switch back to the Germans. And I'm going to hide this HQ. Oops. Scroll this up. All right. And now we're going to continue with this game. And so I'm going to activate this Army Group North HQ. That's why I moved it earlier, because I had a sense that this was going to happen based off of my previous games. And now we can command a bunch of German units, and I'm going to just stack Warsaw with the Panzer Corps. I'm going to send all my Panzer Corps. I think I had one more, didn't I? Yeah, here it is. Boom. So we're gonna stack up all our Panzer Corps and attack Warsaw. And then the rest of the German units, I don't need them in Poland actually. I can um, send them to the Western Front. And then I'm also going to start preparing my defense of East Prussia. You know what? I think I'm going to send these units. I'm also going to send that unit to the Western Front. I'm going to try to send as many German units to the Western Front as I can. I don't need to send units into East Prussia because it's already German controlled, so I don't have to worry about there's one rule in the game, the Soviet border disputes. It's an interesting rule. I think I might read it, but I'm trying to think where is that rule. It might be on the Eastern Front. The front talks about the Western Front, Mediterranean Front, Eastern Front. It doesn't say anything on the border disputes. I don't know where this rule is. I know I said I wouldn't go into the rule books, but the rule books are actually pretty interesting. But it is the rule books are like I have to admit, like, it's not easy to. It took me a long time to familiarize myself with the rule book, and even now, I'm still familiarizing myself with the rule book, as you can tell. Or if you can't tell already, I mean, that's what's going on. Oh, here it is. Axis Soviet borders, 20.15. During Soviet neutrality, the Axis should occupy all hexes that border the annexed Soviet territories of East Poland, Baltic states, and Bessarabia, not Eastern Prussia. Failure to do so risks their loss. See Axis Soviet border disputes. So there's actually another rule, 16.42. That's the one I was looking for. Here it is. During Soviet neutrality, both Axis and Soviets must occupy all mutual border hexes within/adjacent to Eastern Poland, the Baltic states, and Bessarabia to avoid border disputes. What are the border disputes, you ask? What are border disputes, you ask? If either side fails to occupy mutual border hexes in these areas, the other side can occupy and annex them without a declaration of war. And it says see sidebar, see 16.6 sidebar. Moreover, any new border hexes resulting from such annexation then become similarly exposed to new border disputes if left undefended. In effect, either side can advance one hex per turn across undefended borders within the specified areas. So I like how they kind of just, this is a logic statement. All of this is a logic statement. And here they kind of just sum it up in like layman terms. In effect, either side can advance one hex per turn across undefended borders within the specified areas. But there is a grace period. If the Axis Soviet border changes by any means other than border disputes, both sides are allowed 1 month to garrison their new borders before the other side can annex them by border dispute. So it says if the Axis, I have to read that one more time. If the Axis Soviet border changes by any means other than border disputes, such as political, conquest, or diplomacy, both sides are allowed 1 month to garrison their new borders before the other can annex them by border disputes. So the one that we're going to have in effect right now is conquest. That's what's happening right now. So anyways, here's the German turn. I'm stacking up all these units on Warsaw. So there's a grace period. But we basically have to set up the Curzon line, which is this gray line that extends on the it basically splits Poland in two. You can see Poland on the map. The black border is the Polish border. I might just do that. I might just draw that out. I will use since we're focusing on the allied players. I will use the blue marker, and all I'm going to do is put a marker on the Polish border. Of the entire country, basically. So a little bit of an artistic expression here. It is slower, but it's also a bit more fun. Also here, I'm thinking like, should I even do this? Is this even like a good usage of time for the sake of the video? I don't know. But that's what I had an impulse to do it, and yeah, let's see how it looks. Unfortunately, it's kind of confusing because all the German units are the same color, but if I switch to the Soviet side, you don't really see it very well, the Polish border. So I'm gonna actually try that again. I think actually the best marker I should use is gonna be these blue squares. And these basically represent units that have no combat capability at the strategic level. But I believe that, there's obviously still combat that goes on, or minimal combat, like just fighting between recon units, not like actual so yeah, not actual like divisions or battalions, not actual divisions, we'll say, but I think battles between recon battalions, perhaps, maybe, something like that is very possible. But this is the Polish border. That's how it is before the German invasion. Now, because of the German invasion, the border is different. This is all the German controlled territory. So basically, the Germans control Western Poland. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave it like that. I mean, these German units are unhidden, but that's because they're attacking. But I kind of want to just use it. I kind of want to hide all units. Oh, I can do the solitaire. There's a shortcut to add solitaire. I've never used it before. Oh, where is it? Oh, hide solitaire, Alt H. So we can just look at the game. Oh, that's so nice. So that's how it looks. That's basically how it looks right now. And Poland is split in two. So I might leave it like this. I think it looks really cool. And I'll use these markers just for who controls territory. Yeah, I'm gonna start using those, just so that we can like get a consistent feel for the game. And anyways, we're gonna do the German turn now. I can turn off the solitaire. right. Yeah, I guess I'll leave those markers there. Well, actually, these units don't have to be there. Am I deleting German units by accident? I have no idea. I'm so confused right now. If those were German units, they were, dude. I was deleting German units. What the heck? Weird. Anyways, let's do the battle. Battle Warsaw. Oh, we also have triple support, triple fire. Scoring 1 hit. We need to score 4 hits to wipe it out because of the double defense. But because of the supply rule that comes in effect, we only need to score 2 hits. And they don't have any defensive capability. So now the Panzers are going to roll. We get to roll 9 plus 4, 13 dice at double fire. And we score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits, plus the air support, 6 hits, and we only needed 2. So this unit is gone because we scored 6 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Scored 6 hits. So this unit is wiped out. That's the point. And now we've taken Warsaw. I'm going to update the production. The Germans start off at 38, not 37, and they gain 1, 2, 3, 4. They gain four. Well, hold on. I'm gonna finish the supply phase, and all these Polish units are gonna be out of supplies. This unit, boom, out of supplies. That unit takes a hit, that unit disappears. That unit disappears, that unit takes a hit. Boom. There we go. But because when we switch over to that was the supply phase. When we switch over to the political phase, I'm gonna like put what phase we're in this kind of input box. I'll put it in all caps too, so it might be easier for you guys to see. But this game doesn't have that. But right now, the political phase is going to be conquest of Warsaw. This helps me get a little bit more organized, I think. And so with that, all the Polish units are going to disappear. And that's how the turn is going to end. And then I'll use these markers to indicate German-controlled areas. Basically where the recon units have driven off to. Oh, and this unit... Oh, there's not even a unit there. Huh. Yeah, so now you get a sense as to actually what ends up happening is that Warsaw, all the areas become German controlled. These are all German-controlled areas now. But I guess that's not where the combat units are located. And that's relevant because we're now going to switch over to the Soviet side. Soviets get to do an operation invading Poland. And yeah, no, I think it's fair to put these German units along this border. I don't think I want to, because that would imply that the German units drove all the way to eastern Poland, and that actually doesn't happen. So we're going to leave it as it is. We're going to activate the Soviet units, and we're going to move our units forward. Actually, in that case, it doesn't. They're not at war with each other. So I guess in the speeded hexes, yeah, no one controls that area. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. Or what I can do is put a black marker and a red marker there, kind of indicating that the front line is actually in the hex. And then we're also going to activate Russian units moving in southern Poland, and have these armies just move up. And we're going to push this unit back. And then what else? Move that forward, move this over there. Actually, no, we're gonna move this unit down south. Oh, we haven't annexed Bessarabia yet. Yeah, we're gonna do that. So technically, these two areas. Oh, I should have included the. Oh no, these units surrendered. There's nothing left. I don't know, but technically these are German areas. I don't know, I feel like we should annex that area as well. Yeah, we're gonna go like that, I think. Move up the cavalry in there. Yeah. All right, that's the Soviet advance. Really cool set of moves, I have to admit. I really love the Soviet push into eastern Poland. I mean, historically, not a really highlight moment for Poland there, but the Polish government. But it was in a historically groundbreaking moment to watch the Axis, work together. The Soviets and the Nazis. They're two political opposites, somehow working in a collaborative fashion to conquer Poland. It's really kind of a sight to see, and this game captures it pretty well, I think. Anyways, that's the political phase. We're now going to. I said I was going to do that for every turn, but maybe not every turn. Well, maybe I will try to do it for every turn. It's going to be a little bit slower, but I think it might be worth it. We're going to switch to the Allied command phase now. What we just did was the Soviet command phase. Now we're going to switch to the Allied command phase. Oh, I forgot to hide these German units. No, it's fine. I'm going to pull these German units out of Metz, or these French units out of Metz. They're not really doing anything there. And I want to save these French units for later on. I don't know, maybe I can wait. I can maybe keep attacking as the French. I've never tried to do this before. But I could. The problem with this, though, is that, you know, we can stack more units into Metz, but it's going to be a pain in the ass to get them out. I can't just pull them out all in one turn. And right now, am I interested in doing another round of combat? And I don't think I am. So I kind of want to pull these units out because the attack failed. We can keep attacking, but we just don't have favorable dice. And the French, you know, we're spending a lot of HQ points attacking as the French. And the problem is that the phony war only allows the French, I'll show you the rule, but the phony war only allows the French to build one unit per turn. Let's see, where is the phony war? PW. Here it is. It's the first Axis event. It says Axis annexed Danzig in Western Poland. Allies cannot declare war, and France can only build one step per month. And that's going to happen on the next turn. Guaranteed. It's a no dice roll or die roll is required. And the Germans are probably going to activate it. Well, I know we're going to activate it. And so, yeah, the French are going to, all that time building up the HQs, I could be using that to build up armored units, and we don't have many. So we're going to pull these units out of, this area. And these units have, what is it, double speed? I don't know what it's called. They have they have a level 2 speed, level 3 speed actually. So they're going to be able to outrun these German units, and so there's no rear guard. We don't have to worry about leaving behind a rear guard because these units can retreat faster. And look at that! That's just a really organized retreat. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to pull the French units out. We're not going to attack anymore. We're going to prioritize a strong French defense. So that's what we're going to do. That's going to sum up the Allied turn. We now, I think, we switched to October 1939. And now we're going to do the Axis. I think we're going to start with Axis production. Axis production phase. There we go. Actually, the way we play by email, we allow the Allies to build first. So my mistake. Because we're starting the production phase for both sides. We're actually doing the production phase for both sides. It's allied, then Axis production phase. So that's what we're gonna do. The phony war has yet to be declared, so we can build up. The French have 24 production. The Allies have 24 production points. We're gonna spend them all on French units. I'm gonna go 1, 2. These cost 4 apiece, by the way. That's by the player aid card. The infantry cost 4 per step. So I just built 1, 2. That's 8, and I said I have 24. 1, 2, 3. So that's 12, and then these cost 6 apiece. So that's going to be another 12. That's 24 total. So I did 4, 4, 4 plus 6 plus 6. That's 24 production points. So that's it for the Allies. Then we'll switch over to the Soviets. Soviets have their own production. The Soviets only have 18 production right now. It would have been at 54, but their production is at 1/3 one-third the active production, but it's at 1/3 until declaration of war takes place. And so we're going to strengthen these Russian infantry. That's 4 plus 4 plus 4. That's going to cost 12. And then the last 6, we're going to build up this mechanized unit. So that's 18 for the Soviets. And then we're actually I'm going to combine diplomatic phase with production phase. Basically combine the two. And you know what? I think I'm going to you know what I can do? I got it. In the notes, we're going to I'm going to have these all written out so that I can just cut and paste them. It's a little faster. We're going to switch now to the German production. And German production was at 38 by default. Pretty sure it's at 38. I can look at the 1939 historical setup, which is in the rule books. And that's 1940 setup. They have a lot of scenarios, which is really good in this game. But the production, let's see, it's at 37. Oh, it was at 37. Okay. I don't know why I changed it to 38. But let's see, the Germans get to occupy Danzig, Warsaw, Krakow, and Katowice. And this is actually doubled. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plus Königsberg. Yeah, I forgot. It was at 38. But I just split it between East and West, and the Eastern Front isn't active yet, so you combine both. So it's at 38, and they just gained 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Germans gained 7. So 38 plus 7 is 45. So that's what they have. And so we'll do German production. I'm going to build 2 HQs, build up OKH, and build up Army Group South. And then the remaining 25, they're 10 apiece, by the way. Here again in the player aid. Here it is. HQ costs is 10 per step. There are some special rules, but the supplies is pretty standard here. And then we have 25 left. I'm going to build 1 on this HQ, or this infantry unit in Hamburg. And And then what else? That leaves me with 20. And I'm gonna build up the Eastern Front, the Western Front rather. Um, yeah, 4 apiece. So that's 4, um, 8, 12, um, 16, 20. We just might as well build up the Ruhr while we're at it. Um, that's gonna be German production. Um, I don't know how long this video is gonna be. I have to decide like how many turns I'm trying to do per video. But I think I'm just gonna go until I'm like too tired to go. Last time I had like the videos very neat and orderly, but I think we're just gonna go as far as we can. Um, um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know which way I should format it, but this game is gonna take a long time. So I think I'm just gonna sort of freestyle these videos a bit more because for the sake of just getting through the project because it's gonna take a lot more than I realized, especially if I'm kind of going off these on these tangents and kind of exploring different historical things while we play. Um, yeah, it's gonna take a while. Um, anyways, that's gonna sum up German production. I probably should use markers for the weather. I normally don't use them, but we'll have a marker for the Western Front, weather for the Eastern Front, um, and also one. It's always dry in the Mediterranean front. Um, and then also the Northern Front. The Northern Front's weather is split between east and west, between Western Front and Eastern Front. It follows the same weather pattern, so I don't really need it. Um, anyways, you can tell the weather by just looking at the production charts. You can see that October is clear for the west, but for the east in October, it's a 50-50 die roll between mud or dry. And so we'll roll 2 dice. Both are even. It sums up to even, and so it's going to be clear weather or dry weather on the Eastern Front. We did do German production. So now it's pretty straightforward, the German strategy. Now we just have to transfer all these units to the Western Front. And that's what the rest of the game is going to be until the Battle of France. It's just moving units to the Western Front. So, not every turn is a combat turn in this game. In fact, a lot of turns are non-combative because this is a strategy game. So kind of like in the game of chess, you get a lot of like prep turns, but they're turns in which combat doesn't actually take place. And I can show you what I mean. Um, we can continue like this other game that we were playing earlier. You can see that a lot of the movement. Here, I think we just have this file, but you can see that a lot of the movement is non-combative, non-combat, non-combat, non. There is a combat move. Um, Chess has these icons. Oh, I wish that stayed there. But you can see that most of the moves in chess are non-combative, from what I understand. And that's actually a good statistic to keep track of. But likewise, that's something that this does have in common with chess, is that there's a lot of non-combative turns. A lot of the turns are strategic, and kind of preparing for moments of engagement. And so a lot of this game is going to be like that. So anyways, I'm going to activate OKH and OKW, and those are the only units I'm going to activate. 12 command moves in total, 6 on the Eastern Front, 6 on the Western Front. So that's what we're going to do. The Eastern Front, I'm going to move these Panzer units forward. So that's 1, 2. This is OKW, and I can put. No, actually, these are not non-rail moves. What else? That's really it. Oh, and then move this unit into Bialystok. Now that we've pulled out, well, I'll do that at the end of the phase. I'll update the area control at the end of the phase, not at the beginning. Anyways, we did 1, 2, 3. Here's the strategic move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I gotta figure out if I'm putting the unit in Stettin or Hamburg. I think it makes the most sense to put it in Hamburg. And anyways, that's it's 10 areas. So I did 1, 2. I'll do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like that. Basically, I'm trying to play the way I would play by email. Anyways, so that is a rail move or strategic movement spent. I just don't like how the I actually don't like how the strategic movement icon has a rail, because not all the moves are rail moves necessarily. These units could have been deployed. Like they could have marched to these different positions. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. Not all the strategic movement is gonna be rail movement, but I guess this particular type is unique. Anyways, we've done 4 strategic movements so far. I have 2 more, and we're gonna move these panzer groups by rail. This is gonna be a strategic move. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we'll leave it at that. 1, 2, 3. Oh man, I messed up. Let's do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. So that's 6 moves from OKH. Now I'm going to deactivate it. Now we're going to do OKW. And I move all these units on the Western Front, starting with Army Group South. So this is also going to be a strategic move. Oops. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Moving it to Stettin. So that's 1. Like I say, I'm probably not going to use the icons for all the moves in the game. I could though, and maybe for the sake of the video I do. So that was 1. We're going to do 2, 3. There's a short key, Shift X. Oh no, that's not right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. I think that's the plan. And so let's move these units Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like that. And yeah, that's basically deactivate OKW, and we'll move it to Berlin. So that's its own strategic rail movement. And you can see that we've got a lot of rail movements, strategic movements, and we're basically transferring all these German units that were located in Poland, transferring them over to the Western Front. So in one turn, we were able to move a lot of them. That's pretty good. And we basically, oh, you know what? This area is still German controlled. And so we don't have that many more units left on the Eastern Front, but I've basically occupied Eastern Poland, so the Soviet Axis-Soviet border disputes doesn't take place, and we're moving our units to the gray border, the Curzon line. And actually, the phase that we're doing, oops, this is now the command and movement phase. So I'm just going to combine the two phases. It's faster, and that's how you do it by email. Oops. And now yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we'll switch over to the Soviets. Allied, we'll just call it Allied. Well, actually, the Soviets are neutral. We'll do the Soviet command movement phase. I'm going to activate the Stavka, 6 command strategic moves. And we're going to move our forces to invade Finland. That's the next major battle, is the Winter War. So we're going to move these 3 units to Finland. And then I think I'm going to move these 2 units. Oh man, I totally forgot about this unit here. In fact, I think because the German units pulled out, we can update the border disputes. And these are now Soviet-controlled hexes. Oh, and something I forgot to do, and I always forget. Not always, but I forget a lot. But I forgot to actually use the political markers. Oops. We don't have to, but it's helpful. So the Phony War is one political event. Um, I can look at the political markers here. We basically follow the historical ones. We've got Axis peace offer. It takes place after Poland was defeated, and Poland was defeated in September in our game. So the phony war diplomatic event takes place in October. So that was during the production phase, or right after the production phase. I skipped the diplomacy. And then the Allies also get to use, the Allies slash Soviets, the Allies and or Soviets get to use, whatchamacallit, a Polish partition. And I will indicate what month this is. That took place, actually took place in October 1939. And then this took place also in October 1939. There you go. And so we're going to use that to track like the game. And anyways, so this is all Soviet controlled areas. So that's why, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And we do need to move some units into the Baltic states, but because I think, what am I kidding? I think we're going to activate the HQ again, right? I'm going to try to save as many Soviet HQs as I can. I think we're good. We definitely want to move one unit into the Baltic states to annex it. And it's already Soviet controlled. It already became Soviet controlled, but we still have to invade the countries. So I don't know. I think I should probably update the markers and basically presume that the Soviets have to move into this area, otherwise it's going to be German controlled. Technically, no German units have moved in there yet. But I'm just trying to play it by like, um, I think we just have no units indicate that there are no forces on either side. Maybe I'm doing more like this. I think that might make the most sense. Um, anyways, I think we're gonna move this units. But it may not be a rail movement. I think we'll have that unit march in. Yeah. Okay. I think I got the game plan here. Yeah, I think it's like this. There's a grace period. Anyways, 6 strategic moves. This unit. Oh, I know. Um, I'm confused. I think I'm confused. I really don't know. No, I think what I was trying to do is this unit moves in like that. We can just delete this. We'll delete at the end of the movement phase. And then we'll move all these units to Leningrad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 3. Then that's 4 over there. And then the last two is basically occupying the border like that. Cool. So that's going to sum up the Soviets' Soviet command and movement phase. And then clear the icons, update the map. And now, I wish there was a shortcut to, I wonder if there's a shortcut to turn on all the solitaire all at once. I don't think there is. But what I can do is I can switch to another player, and there you go. Now we got a good sense of the map and what the front line looks like. And to be clear, East Prussia is under German control. There you go. Basically, that's how it looks like. Right. So now we'll switch back to the Soviet side to deactivate that HQ. Switch over to the Allied command and movement phase. And this time, there's really not much going on for the Allies. Because we already pulled our French units out of the Ruhr. But I am going to activate the British forces. And we're going to start moving units into France. And so we'll move this unit by sea from port to port. Move this unit by sea from port to port. So really the movement is like this. Like that. And there's one movement into the sea. And actually that actually looks pretty good. It actually makes sense. That's how the maps are made. Yeah. Then I want to move one more unit. Move a mech unit into Cherbourg. Cherbourg. Translate.
Cherbourg.
Cherbourg. Something like this. And then I got one more strategic move. I could move the HQ over. It's not a bad idea. No, I don't think. We have one more move to do, but I don't see. Oh, I guess we can. Yeah, no, I don't see. I don't see any. No, we're only doing 3 strategic moves for the British. All right. Like I say, I don't think the strategic moves should have that strategic movement spent icon should have only rail, because these could be C moves as well. And I don't have an icon to indicate that these are C moves, but they are. Like so. Um, that's going to conclude the Allied command and movement phase. I'm trying to think of what would be the next phases. What's going on after that? Supply phase, political phase. I guess we'll skip those because, you know, for obvious reasons, like there is no more politics taking place. But I gotta be careful with that because sometimes I'll miss those rules. Um, I could type it out. Yeah, Axis Allied political supply phase. We're gonna pass. And then let me see what else. That's it. We're gonna switch to the next fortnight, and I think the Germans are gonna pass because we're not gonna use any more HQs. The Allies, I think, are also gonna pass for the same reasons. So we're gonna move on to the next phase of production. I don't think this system I have here. I think it helps a little bit, but it would have been nice if it was built into the actual menu. We could actually, you know, they did that with the fortnights, but they didn't do that with the phases. I don't know why, but that would be a really good feature to have in the game. We're gonna pass on the access phases. I'm just gonna call it pass, I think, because we're gonna pass on a lot of phases. We're now on the next fortnight. The Germans are gonna pass. The Soviets are gonna pass. The Allies are gonna pass. Everybody's passing. So now we're on November, and we're now gonna go switch to the Allied, back to the production phase. And we start the production phase with the Allies. Of November. The French only have one unit that they can build because of the Phony War. And so we'll build up the HQ. So that costs 10, that leaves 14 for the British. Build up this mech unit, that costs 6. We have 8 left. We'll build up this armored units. Yeah. So that's it for Ally production. We'll switch over to Soviet production. Probably should unhide the movements. And the Soviets have 18 once again. We're going to build up ground units. So that's 4 plus 4 plus 4. That's 12. And then, oh, you know what? Dang nabbit, I forgot to add the Soviet units in the reinforcements back in October. But this unit should have been in Leningrad. So I'm already like taking shortcuts, but I meant to include that. So it would have been 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 6 is 18. There we go. And you know what? I think I forgot the Allied production, the Allied reinforcements as well. Dang nabbit. And this unit would have been here in Edinburgh. All right, what is that? Edinburgh. Yeah, Edinburgh. Edinburgh. I said that right. Why does that sound German? Edinburgh. Strange. Now do the Axis production. And same thing as before, we have 45. We're going to build 20 for Berlin. 25 including, oh my gosh, you know what I forgot? I think I forgot the German reinforcements too. I forgot the reinforcements for everybody. It's not a big deal for the Germans. We'll set these units up right now. But 25 including the mountain units. That leaves us with, well, anyways, 25. Then we'll go 45 or 25, 29, 34. Or excuse me, 33, not 34. 33, 39. Dang, did I do that math right? Oh my gosh. I spent 25. I have 20 left. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Yeah, that's the easier way to count. I would have been done 29, 33, 37, 41, 45. That's what I was looking for. I know how to count. I'm going to put this unit in Stettin and then put this unit in Rostock like that. And the reason why I'm putting the HQs here is you'll see why in due time. And anyone can comment below and guess why. Yeah. That's it for German Axis production. Now I'm gonna do one more. Oh, we forgot about the diplomacy. Yeah, there's actually a Soviet diplomacy, which is the Curzon line, and it's gonna give the Soviets extra supreme moves for this turn that they don't need an HQ. It's kind of hard to read here, but it says occupation 6 free rail moves, basically. All right, and no diplomatic event for the Axis. Now for the Axis, though, we can now switch. I'm gonna change my username. I'm not a newbie. Switch it to my gamer name. A World War II historian. That's usually what I go by. And let's see here. We're going to activate OKH. We've now switched phases, by the way. We're now in the access command phase. Access command and movement phase. I guess I will use enter. I don't know. Oh man, you can save the log file as an HTML file. What the heck? Since when? Save it as a text file. I'm curious to see what that looks like. It's empty. This bitch empty. Oh, never mind. Oh, it looks exactly the same. So it doesn't really give you that much. I mean, it gives you dice roll information and it gives you movements, but it doesn't tell you exactly which hex the unit movement took place. So it's not as helpful as I thought. No big deal, but it's been interesting to see that, I think. I feel like I don't need this text box anymore. It kind of takes up space. But I do want to see this phase icon. See, it's kind of confusing when you have everything typed up. So I kind of want to not see that. Anyways, we're going to activate OKH, and we're going to move more units to the Eastern Front. Actually, we need more German reinforcements, so I'm actually not going to activate OKH. I take that back. These two units, unfortunately, are going to have to wait a little longer before we move them around. And same thing with the German Panzer Corps. We have 3 Panzer Corps. We only have 6 corps in total, so half of our Panzer Army, half of our Panzerwaffe is located in eastern Poland, and it's going to stay there for the foreseeable future until we have reinforcements that can replace them. So we're going to skip. We're going to pass on the German turn. We'll switch over to the Soviets, who do have 6 supreme moves. And we're going to move, start transferring units to Finland, because we're going to invade Finland very shortly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two, three, 4, 5. I guess 6, like this. So let's do it. We're gonna move this unit south. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we're gonna move this unit north. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 2. Then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then so we've done 1, 2, 3. 3 supreme moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 supreme moves. and then the last two are going to come from Moscow. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that. So we've got a frick ton of units stacked up. And there we go. Frick ton of units stacked up in Finland. And now for the third person perspective, or fourth person perspective, you can see the Soviets still have control of all of their borders. They're technically occupied or under safely under Soviet control. And you can see in Finland, we've got all these units stacked up. The maximum stacking is 4 units per hex. And so they're fully stacked up. So we've got a nice invasion group for Finland, and you'll see why, because the Winter War takes place. I think we can move on from this. But the Winter War takes place in December 1939. Oops. December 1939. It starts actually the 30th of November 1939. So we're going to see that happen. That's going to sum up the Soviet turn. If I go over to the Allies, the Allies don't have any Supreme HQs at full strength, so we're going to pass our turn. Now switch to the next fortnight. I think the Germans are going to pass as well. There's no need to activate OK. Oh, I forgot to reduce the OKH by 1. My mistake. No, we actually didn't. We didn't use it. Never mind. What am I saying? Yeah, the Germans are going to pass. The Allies are going to pass. Everybody's going to pass, basically. We're going to switch to the Allies and now do the December production. So we're going to do that next. The production, let me think what it is. It's still 24. Actually, it's 29. Now that it's December, the Allies gained 5. You can see that in the player aid. The Allied production is reduced from -20 to -15. Now that's winter 1939. So there are 29 production. We're going to build up this militia unit by 1. That's 3. That leaves us at 22. Build up this HQ. That leaves us with 12. And then we'll spend the last 6 on these 2 mech units. And then we'll do... I also completely ignored weather. But the weather was, let's see... dry for the first fortnight and mud for the second fortnight. And then as far as the Eastern Front, it was snow on the first fortnight, mud on the second fortnight. And now, when do we check for weather technically? At the end of the production phase, so it's still mud. Yeah. We'll now do Soviet. Oh no, we'll switch over to German production. And the Germans are going to be at 45 still. So we're going to build up our HQs. Build those up at full strength. build up this mountain unit. We have 20 left. And with the remaining 20, I think I want to build up this infantry unit. Well, hold on. Before I deploy the German infantry units, I'm going to deploy these other units. Yeah, so I think I'm going to build up the German infantry, starting with this unit near Warsaw. We only have 20 left, now we only have 16 left. We got 12 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So hopefully that was right. Build up the 2 HQs. Hold on, I may have built up one too many. One, two, three, 4, 5, like that. Yeah, I think that's right. All right. German reinforcements have been deployed. Oh, we forgot these 2 units. So I'll put those units there. Okay, and then I think we're gonna stop here. Oh, well, actually, no, we're not done. We're gonna do Soviets production now. They're still at 18. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3. That's 3 times 4. That's 12. Plus another 6. That puts us at 18, like so. And then I don't think there's any Soviet reinforcements. Oh, there is. Okay. This unit, we'll put it down here in Lvov. And then let's see, there's one more thing, right? Oh yeah, we're gonna declare winter war. Diplomatic events. Right, and this is December 1939. And because winter war is declared, we're gonna deploy the Finnish units. And technically they're neutral. I think for the Finnish, we're gonna switch over to the German perspective, even though they're technically neutral. And we're gonna set up the Finnish defense, and I'm gonna try to set up the best possible Finnish defense I can. We can actually look at the Winter War and look at the setup they have. Try to mimic the setup to the best of our ability. I'm looking for a map that, oh man, they don't have it. A map showing the entire Winter War. Or at least the opening phases of it. So yeah, the Soviets were able to advance onto Nautsi. Sounds like Nazi, doesn't it? Let's see here. Finnish. Let's see how this sounds like. Does it sound like Nazi?
Nautsi.
Nazi. Yeah, it does. That's crazy. Nazi. Enjoy. Where is that relative to Oulu? Oulu's way down south. Okay, so they do have a unit in Petsamo. Technically, it's in Nazi, but in this game, it's in Petsamo. We're going to keep setting up the Finnish units. And we're basically going to have 1 unit per hex. And ideally, we have 2 units. Oh man, because we need to maximize the Soviet, the defense against the Soviet attacks. And the only way I see that being possible is if we can survive the initial Soviet onslaught. And so I'm wondering if I should put this 4th Finnish Corps in Vibor. I probably should. But like we may need a reserve northeast of that. So I think... Yeah, it's hard to say. Oh, we need a unit over here, and that's it. That's as strong as it gets. Maybe we abandon Petsamo. I'm thinking. Because the Finnish line is just so weak. It's so weak. And there's a rule in the game that gives the Soviets like all these firepower advantages when invading Finland. And I'm like, bro, we're not gonna do that. No way. We're not doing that. Gonna give the Soviets these like huge combat advantages for what? It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand these winter war rules. It says Finnish infantry move. Da, 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 da. Here it says Soviet air power fires double fire and Soviet mech is treated as armor. It fires double fire as well. And I'm like, why did they give them all these advantages? I think it kind of gives the Soviets too much firepower. It's like, why not play the historical game in the historical scenario where the Finnish are able to hold out a little bit longer? So the way I see it, the Finnish need a strong reserve. Yeah, but it's like I don't know if this setup is strong enough. Really, we might just stack up like this, which is going to allow the Soviets to invade Kotka via sea if they want to. But our supply lines should be good as long as we don't lose this area here, Joensuu. So I'm going to put 2 Finnish divisions there, but the entire line depends on that flank, which is a little vulnerable if you ask me. But I want to make sure that the Finnish line is as strong as possible against any Soviet attacks. Well, I guess we can leave that unit there. Because if the Soviets land, we're not going to be able to pull our units out. Like I say, it's a weird setup, but it does encourage the Soviets to land in Kotka if they want to, and I don't like that prospect at all. Even if the Soviet invasion is out of supplies. So that means that we only have one Soviet. We have one Finnish division as a reserve, effectively, which is nothing. Um, but I just don't see any other way to set up the Finnish defense. So, anyways, that's that. That took a while. Um, but we have the Finnish defense. So this is what the Soviets are up against. The Soviets have no idea, but we obviously have some sense. But from this perspective, based off of the data presented before us right now, the Soviets have no idea, and the Soviet player would have no idea, um, based off of the setup. But the Soviets can attack. Um, and the Soviets have a real possibility of breaking through at Viborg if they go all in on Viborg. So we're gonna save that for I think another video. I'm gonna end it here because it is the end of the winter scenario. I'm gonna save combat for another exciting part of the video. That's the most exciting part of the video, in my opinion, is the combat. But I think we'll wrap up the video here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe. Um, if you enjoy this video, and comment below. Um, what are your thoughts on the Winter War? Very curious to know. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for more Let's Plays as we continue to play Eurofront and continue to explore this still very interesting game. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.